All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected and the viewers are smarter than the average bear. And you know this. How y'all feeling? Good to see everyone. We're live on YouTube. YouTubers, hello. Rockfinners, hello. Let's see. What is this? Denver question. If research was conducted by Kyoto University, which is 99% Japanese, and they are using Afghans as the group in the study, 90% Muslim, valid or not valid, or how valid or not valid are the findings? Study shows AI conversational agents can help reduce inter-ethnic prejudice during online interactions. Oh, really? Can they? Interesting. That's funny. Nash Hinton says, it's kind of a jump to state that the universe is sentient if matter becomes quantum just because you're not looking at it. Why did anything change with the level of my microphone? Guys, that was weird. Or maybe it's just me. I'm always going to default to user error, but that was very strange. Okay. Because the level of my mic just went super loud and then super quiet. Sound is correct. Okay. Better go. Let's move on. We're live on Twitter too. Hey, if you're watching on Twitter, you know what to do. You know what to do. Like, retweet, comment, get in the chats and say hello from Twitter. Just do it for me. Just do it for Papa. Do it for Papa Bear. How y'all feeling? Weather's getting warmer. Oh, the new tune. Nice. Thanks, Bella. You talking about the cover? The love cover? Thanks, man. It was a bit of a project. Now I'm going to work on originals. I'm trying to work on a bunch of originals this weekend. That's the plan, anyways. Thanks, man. That's the plan. I don't know if I'm going to do a Sunday show today, this weekend. I was really liking doing the Sunday shows. However, it took a lot of energy for me to, I don't know. I'm working on finite amounts of time. There's a finite amount of resources on the planet for humans to use. Well, there's a finite amount of time in my life for me to use. It's, you guys should know, one of the main receivers of my time is this channel. This channel gets a lot of my time, a big chunk. Y'all should know that. Anyways, I have a finite amount of time And there are things that I need to do, other things I need to do. The Sunday show is really cool. It takes so much energy. So maybe I'll do it like once a month, or maybe I'll do it every other week. I'm not really sure yet. I'm trying to figure it out. I would like to keep doing it on a regular basis, but yeah, I would like to keep doing it on a regular basis. However, I need to record music. I have a record I'm working on. I need to record music. That takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of focus and a lot of momentum. So if I'm not actually spending time doing that, spending time getting together a show and working on the songs and getting people and making flyers, and I mean, all that time is time that I could be recording a record. So I think that I'm going to work on recording a record. Thanks, Gigabane. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Appreciate you being here. For sure. Or for shizzle, as they used to say like 20 years ago. All right. Why am I talking about all my personal life on the internet? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Hey. Got some news. Let's see how weird the Twitter numbers are. All right, Twitter peeps. I don't have anybody that's willing to get in the chats and send me a message on Twitter. Not one person. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to know where it is that you need to keep your focus on in life, you know? I'm sure everybody understands that. Sometimes I get so wrapped up in projects and ideas and things I want to do that I'm like, oh, but you're supposed to be focusing on these, you know, kind of core things that you're supposed to be doing. So, you know, got to keep it simple, as they say. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And just focus on the core things that you're trying to do in life. And not get too, you know, ideas are fun though. Jeez, I love projects. I love ideas. I love projects. I love new ideas. I love new things to get into. I love them all. What is going on with the... Hold on. I thought that I opened this tab here. Oh, we're briefly talking about... For the people that that come in late, I don't start late anymore. I hope you guys know that. I start at 11 now, or pretty shortly after 11. So just letting you know, show starts at 11. What was I saying? Oh, I was a good friend of mine sent me a video that was talking about people's assumptions about whatever. It was kind of a deep concept, and I appreciate it. And people talk around the same concept that especially on the internet, that attitudes and ideas, what people believe to be as true or not true, are things that are kind of shaped by an overarching consensus, right? I'll get a brief example from the video. The example was, everybody believes that being famous is an important thing to want. But what if you get people alone and ask them, you know, if people give you, so what they were doing, they were asking people what's important in life. And most people think that other people think being famous is important, and that that's what you're supposed to want too, to be famous. But what most people actually think is that it's not that important to be famous. And that's That's real. Anyways, so a lot of people's attitudes, ideas around things are shaped by a consensus, right? And we know this, right? And there's lots of different ways this is expressed. And this is why the internet is so powerful in some ways, because it can shape consensus in ways that are harmful and or misleading or misinformational. Also, the internet can be used. They were in the same video. They're saying the way to around this false consensus that people have is to have conversations with people. That also is why the internet is powerful, because people can have conversations beyond this false consensus, this false narrative, right? And the AI conversation is way, all deep up in that consensus forming future of the internet, right? And the interesting thing is that the AI isn't really AI because it's being programmed to give you politically correct answers, right? We know this. This has been proven. And when you let an AI loose without the programming, what did I see? It was some headline about an AI was let loose to gather information around medical studies and medical information, right? To kind of to gather like a kind of overview. And the headline literally said, and what it started spewing out was misinformation. No, what it started spewing out was reality, right? And that's exactly what, people work in the same way. People are like, the hive mind is like a giant AI, right? The hive mind is a giant AI. We are intelligence singularly. We're also intelligence together as a group. So the AI that they're talking about, that's computers, the real AI is humans together communicating in a hive, right? Doing a hive mind thing and coming to a consensus about what is real, what is really reality, as opposed to what is imposed reality, right? It's pretty deep. What Salt Lakers? What are you saying? Salt Laker says, "I want to grow up to be Anthony Fauci." I hope not. I mean, he's a very wealthy man, I'm sure. Anyways, real stupidity trumps artificial intelligence. No, but I think that if you let people, people, I think the internet actually is actually capable of raising consciousness if you let people, find out what they want to find out and see what they want to see, and just go through the growing pains of like learning, what's a good thing to believe in or to understand, or what's not. But anyways, real stupidity trumps artificial intelligence. It's deep. That's deep. COVID 24, bird flu and COVID, or what was it? Somebody said avian fluvid, or I heard was that Steve on AM Wake Up called it something else. It was funny. Anyways, here's the banger of that video I was watching, is that they slipped in some propaganda while they were talking about how we're being propagandized. I was like, what the? And that's the new game. The new game is to tell the truth, but slip in some propaganda in, a little kernel of propaganda inside the truth, right? We're telling the, truth is the new thing. The truth is the new black, or what's the saying? Right? Truth is the new black. Right. So everybody's revealing the truth now, and everybody's a truth teller, and that's good. I think for the most part, people are interested in the truth. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of people, there are people talking about the new revealing of what is really, the machinations of the world and how it works and what's going on. Like, that some of that is being co-opted. No duh, because every movement is co-opted. Every movement is co-opted. Co-opted for nefarious purposes. Or you don't say. So you reveal the truth, and then you lay a kernel of propaganda in there, and everybody's like, whoop. It's kind of like people are like, just watch it go on by. They're like, wait, was that? Did I hear that correctly? The new Yes album by John Anderson is called True Lies. I always loved that title, True Lies. Sorry, I'm just talking out loud, which is, yeah. What was I going to say? The last thing I'm going to say about this video I watched was funny because they gave an example of bots on the internet shaping ideas around leaders, figures, famous figures, etc. Right? But the example that they used was Nicolas Maduro. And I was like, hold on, Nicolas Maduro, right? Supposed evil arch villain of Venezuela that the United States hates. Isn't that right? Nicolas Maduro, right? The successor of Chavez, who was like loved by the people and tried to we're trying to destroy Venezuela and their socialism that they have there. I'm not saying that Maduro is probably like all great. I'm sure that he probably, is a leader like anybody else. He has issues. But I was like, you use Nicolas Maduro as your example and not Joe Biden or the Democratic Party or Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or, right? Because we know that bots are at work all the time, on Twitter. There's, DNC bots all over the place, live and not live, alive and not live. Right? There's live people that are working there's live people working for the CIA and the NSA. They're all over the place. They're, they run comments. And then there are not live people all over they're not live bots all over the internet running, that run up in people's chat rooms and give people comments and manipulate the narrative and manipulate the conversation in a particular way. This happens all the time. But they didn't use Joe Biden or the DNC as the example. They used Nicolas Maduro. I was like, nice piece of propaganda right the fuck up in the middle of this thing telling you how everybody's like getting screwed over by propaganda. Nice one. Nice job. I was like, that's some bullshit. That was some bullshit. Because I was watching this video, a very informative video about how, how narratives are shaped and bots are. And then they were like, Nicolas Maduro. Nicolas Maduro, like you could have just said, case in point, Vladimir Putin. Like, okay, all right. So telling you the truth, but hiding some propaganda in the truth so that you're like, oh yeah, that Nicolas Maduro sure is a weird guy. Hope that we can overthrow him one day. The hell? What the hell? I was like, that was, woo, that was some 3-card money, right? You see the ball, see the ball, see the ball? You know where the ball is, don't you? Nope, not there. Right? Yeah, Nash Hinton, the dead internet theory says 50% of internet is propaganda box. Oh, well, here's another interesting thing they said in the video is that like most of the content created online is created by like 10% of the people online or something. I was like, yeah, sure. Created and then, you see it on Twitter all the time. There are some really huge accounts, and they all retweet or reconfigure the same information at the same time, right? So it's almost like, okay, are these real people? Is this real information, or is this just a group of? Is this the same CIA talking points at 4 a.m, right? Because you know that at like 4 a.m, if the CIA puts out talking points to the news networks, right? Here's what you're going to make sure that you push out today. That happens, right? So is this the same CIA, NSA bots? Like, hey, these accounts, you guys push this out. It all looks like a bunch of like truth teller stuff, but we're gonna, we're gonna throw a little angle in there, Nicolas Maduro, or something. China or something, right? We're gonna throw a little elbow in there. Anyways, huge solar storm on the way. Yeah, that's what I hear. Isn't it this weekend? Yes, or Northern Lights. Apparently, you're going to be able to see them very far south, right? Aurora is possible down to southern U.S. Hold on. I need to tell. I need to actually. I forgot to. Hold on. But imagine if people were allowed to, really have all the information that the internet could give them, sift through it, probably go down terrible rabbit holes, but, eventually they'll come up right side up. Yeah. Anyways, it was an interesting video, and then I was afraid that I was being propagandized. Maybe none of this is true. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Number of CMEs heading for Earth keeps increasing. The total is now 6. Well, what's going on? Is the alien civilization living inside of the sun throwing us a whopper this weekend? Is that what's going on? You cut the grass and it looks nice, Caleb? All right, good for you. Nothing like a nice looking lawn. Other people don't like lawns. Some people like lawns. I don't know. So you guys remember, everything shuts down this weekend. What are you going to do? Think about it. Okay? I mean, actually, think about it. Obsolete optics, no mo may. You know that today is supposed to be a strike for Rafa, a global strike for Rafa. Anybody acknowledging that? All right. Sorry. Too much talking. Let's get to some news. Or maybe we won't. Hold on. Auroras visible south. One day ago. Northern Lights. Hold on. Auroras could be visible as far south as Alabama this weekend. What? That is south. Thanks to unusually strong solar activity, the aurora borealis could be coming to the skies above a large portion of the United States. Well, holy crap balls! How can we all see these? Northern Lights, the most benign result of solar activity. Can we see them in Southern California? That's what I want to know. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. You thought you were going to get some news today. And you are. Okay, so the world's largest vacuum to suck climate pollution out of the air just opened. Here's how it works. Did you all know this? Won't see them in Costa Rica. Northern California can see them, says CB. What about Southern California? Come on. If I hike up into the mountains tonight, can I see them? You're on strike today, Gene? Okay. I just suddenly was able to hear my... God dang it. I'm having a hard time hearing myself. I just want to hear myself. You ever been in a band? Anybody ever been in a band? I don't know if all bands work this way, but whenever I'm in a band, everybody seems to be worried about hearing themselves, and I'm like, works better when you hear each other. Works better when you listen to each other. But everybody's just like, I can't hear myself. Turn it up. I want the monitor in my face. Great. So it's just everybody sitting around listening to their own parts. It's going to sound good together. The enemy does not take a day off. Why should we? Bob Marley. Paraphrase. Nice. Gigabain. I like that. World's largest vacuum to suck climate pollution out of the air just opened. Here's how it works. Direct air capture. Blah, blah, blah. We know what that is. Technology designed to suck in air and strip out the carbon using chemicals. World's largest plant designed to suck planet heating pollution out of the atmosphere like a giant vacuum began operating in Iceland on Wednesday. Iceland seems like they really have their stuff together, don't they? They're always doing the coolest stuff in Iceland. You know what I'm saying? Mammoth is the second commercial direct air capture plant opened by Swiss company Climeworks. I'm not necessarily saying, I'm being a little bit funny. Maybe you can't tell. Climeworks in the country. Second direct air capture plant in the country, and is 10 times bigger than its predecessor, Orca, which started running in 2021. So I'm assuming both of these are in Iceland. Direct air capture, or DAC, is a technology. Do we have to read the same thing 3 times? For crying out loud. Climeworks plans to transport the carbon underground, where it will be naturally transformed into stone, locking up the carbon permanently. All right. I mean, sounds cool. Question is, can it outpace the carbon that's already being released? Anyways, it's partnering with Icelandic company Carbfix for this so-called sequestration. You said so-called. What does that mean? So-called sequestration process. The whole operation will be powered by Iceland's abundant, clean geothermal energy. Well, okay. It's going to be powered by the earth. Next-gen climate solutions like DAC are gaining more attention from governments and private industry as they continue to pump carbon into the atmosphere. They are looking for a way to reverse the damage that they have done when it becomes way too late to do anything about the damage. That's what this is all about. Sorry to tell you that. Concentrations of planet-warming carbon dioxide in the atmosphere reached a record high in 2023. So there you go. My point exactly. But carbon removal technologies such as DAC are still controversial. As the planet continues to heat up with devastating consequences for humans and nature, many scientists say the world needs to find ways to remove carbon from the atmosphere in addition to rapidly cutting fossil fuels. Well, we're not doing the latter, so maybe we'll try the former. They're still controversial. They have been criticized as expensive, energy hungry, and unproven at scale. Such climate advocates are also concerned they could distract from policies to cut fossil fuels. Certainly. What we need to offset the ravages of technology is some more technology. You know that works. This technology is fraught with uncertainties and ecological risks, says Lily Fuhr, director of the Fossil Economy Program at the Center for International Environmental Law, speaking about carbon capture generally. Climeworks started building Mammoth in June 2022. The plant has a modular design with space for 72 collector containers. The vacuum parts of the machine that capture carbon from the air, which can be stacked on top of each other and moved around easily. There are currently 12 of these in place, with more due to be added over the next few months. Mammoth will be able to pull 36,000 tons of carbon from the atmosphere at full capacity. According to Climeworks, that's equivalent to taking around 7,800 gas-powered cars off the road for a year. Why don't we just take 7,800 gas-powered cars off the road? Did you notice they said gas-powered cars? Anyways. It's still a fraction of what's needed. Yeah. You know, this is not really great news. Again, you're trying to fix the ravages of technology with technology. Think about it. Would you? Maybe. And would it be so crazy to suggest that maybe we should have less technology? What? No. But we are humans. We are doing great things. We must go forward. We must have more technology. We must do more. That's the answer. Is it? Is it the answer? Is it the answer? This is great. Indigenous protesters smeared red Iricum. I don't know what Iricum seed paste. Iricum seed. I don't know what Iricum is. Sorry. Let's educate ourselves, shall we? It's a fruit that grows on a tree belonging to the Bixa oreana species. Native to tropical America, the annatto trees can reach up to 6 meters in height. The pale green leaves and annatto seeds are traditionally used by Brazilian and Peruvian Indians as a raw material for red dyes, sunscreen, repellent, and religious item of thanks for harvesting and fishing. Uricum is 100% natural dye and is rich in tocotrienol, an excellent antioxidant, ideal for production of natural bronzers and sunscreens. Sunscreens. Interesting. Dang, I need to get me some Uricum or grow it. I don't know if I can. Anyways, they smeared red Uricum seed paste on the faces of business leaders who are pushing for the construction of a railway in the Amazon that will destroy the environment for numerous communities. At a public consultation event, these business leaders had come to endorse the Ferrogrão Railway, which will cause environmental damage affecting 14 indigenous communities in the Amazon. Representatives from each of those communities came to voice their opposition. Brazil's Ministry of Transport will make the final decision. I'm sure that's going to be approved. However, it comes just as there's growing concern about the climate disaster following the deadly floods in Rio Grande do Sul, a region bordering Uruguay, where over 100 people have died and well over 100,000 have been displaced. these guys getting smeared. This, I feel like he's casting a spell on these people, and they're like, wait, I can grow it in the LA area, Gene? Oh, nice. Good to know. I think I will. Yeah, they're going to approve this railway. And, people are going to be like, but our technology is destroying the planet to the point where we are getting major floods, which is destroying all of our technology. What should we do? Should we build some more technology or should we stop? Well, but we really need this technology to do our business stuff. We're running a business here. And business, well, is king until it's not. Anyways. What else is going on? This is an interesting article from The Guardian. This is not surprising to me, and doesn't necessarily. And I'm reading this with the caveat that you understand that Biden is pumping more oil than ever. The Biden's lip service, we'll call it, to addressing climate change is pretty much that. Like, whatever he's doing for climate change is absolutely minimal. But, we know how basically it's a good cop, bad cop, the ratchet effect, if you will, right? Right-wingers push things to the right, and, the supposed lefties just go, don't go any more right. We can't stop doing that. We're doing the good things, but they kind of just tepidly, barely push it back a little bit. If they even push it back at all, then the right wingers get in power and they push it farther to the right. That's called the ratchet effect. You guys know that. Anyways, let's look at this. Why does this happen? Y'all good? You hanging out, playing along at home? Trump promises to scrap climate laws if U.S. oil bosses donated $1 billion. Report. Trump promised to 20 executives at Mar-a-Lago dinner to increase oil drilling and reverse pollution rules, among other pitches. Well, of course he did. Of course he did. Because there are a lot of people out there, a lot of Americans that are like, this climate change is a bunch of hooey. What we need is more oil. Oil is pro-human. Right? Everybody needs oil and energy to get the stuff that they need. This climate change is making the oil prices go up. That's what it is climate change policies. Stuff like that, right? And Trump is like, hey, I'm going to be president. I'm going to roll it all back. We need more oil, and everybody's going to go, yay, more oil. Anyways, Donald Trump dangled a brazen deal in front of some of the top U.S. oil bosses last month, proposing they give him $1 billion for his White House reelection campaign. That'll surely put him over the top. I don't know if he needs does he really need that much help? I mean, it's all a game anyways. I mean, Joe Biden has pretty much shot himself, everywhere he could possibly shoot himself on his body. The foot, the hip, the kneecap. I think Trump could just shut the F up and just chill until like October and go like, ready to vote for me, guys? Okay. Like, I don't think he needs to really do that much, but who knows? Maybe he's worried about old Bobby Kennedy. Maybe he is. I mean, apparently he offered RFK Jr. the vice presidency. This is according to RFK Jr. that he was approached about, and he was like, nah. Good choice, RFK Jr. Anyways, proposing that they give him $1 billion for his White House re-election campaign and vowing that once back in office, he would instantly tear up Joe Biden's environmental regulations, which Joe Biden is doing a really good job ignoring anyways, if he has any regulations. Does he have regulations? I mean, he approved the Willow Project, and he seems to be doing one thing with the right hand and saying something with the left hand, something else. According to the Washington Post, the entire GOP is calling Joe Biden anti-Israel, which is just the funniest thing ever. It's like calling him communist. It's like, really? Do you guys, what planet? Hello? Anyways, according to the Washington Post, the former U.S. president made his jaw-dropping pitch, which the paper described as remarkably blunt and transactional, at a dinner at his Mar-a-Lago home and club. Well, we can always appreciate that about Donald Trump, that he just gets straight to the point, and he's not going to do the whole respectable political operative thing. He's just going to be like, you know what, you guys, I need some money, and I'll give you some oil, and it sounds good. In front of more than 20 executives, including from Chevron, Exxon, and Occidental Petroleum, he promised to increase oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, remove hurdles to drilling in the Alaskan Arctic, and reverse new rules designed to cut car pollution. He would also overturn the Biden administration's decision in January to pause a new natural gas export permits, which have been denounced as climate bombs. I think there's actually a political reason for that and not a climate reason. You'll get it on the first day, Trump said, according to the Post, citing an unnamed dinner attendee. Trump's exhortation to the oil executives that they were wealthy enough to pour $1 billion into his campaign war chest at the same time pledging a U-turn on Biden's efforts to combat the climate crisis was immediately denounced on Wednesday by environmental groups, of course. No, that's terrible. This guy is the worst. Joe Biden is the best. No. I mean, they're all the worst. Sorry. He's pretty bad, though. It's pretty bad. But again, I don't know. This is part of the theater of it all. Because everybody was like, Joe Biden is climate. If you care about the climate, at least vote for Joe Biden and climate. And Joe Biden got in and was like, how about some more oil wells, guys? How about some more oil pumping? How about we haze the protesters at the pipeline in Minnesota with helicopters? How's that for a climate president? Huh? What do you say? So it's not really, you can't really win either way with these people, which really sucks. And they both are just, liars and thieves and liars. I almost got a little excited inside the other day when I saw an article about how Trump was going to be really crypto friendly, because I like crypto, and they're like kind of trying to crack down on crypto in the US. And it's annoying to me. So I was like, look, I saw this article about Trump was going to be nice to people about crypto. And for a second I was like, well, shit, if that's a reason to vote for Trump, I might actually have to. And I was like, okay, stop. Stop. Like a voice in my mind was like, well, that's, hey, but I was like, he's a liar, and he's just a liar, right? He makes promises and breaks them. What happened the first time to all the Trumpers? He got in office, he made a bunch of promises. I mean, there were a couple things he did, and even a few things that I was like, hey, that's cool. Hey, that's cool, you did that. A couple of things, but mostly he was, because he was like, drain the swamp, fix the, he hired the swamp. He was like, drain the swamp, hire the swamp. That's what he did. Exactly when he did an about face Just like Obama did when he got into office. Obama was like, I'm going to do all these things, and these things are going to be great, and everybody vote for me and hope it change. And everybody was like, yeah, this guy is great. And then he got into office and immediately about faced on pretty much everything that he said he was going to do. And it's like, you guys, you keep falling for the okey doke. You guys are Charlie Brown. These people are Lucy. You're like, hey, how about a little game of football? And they're like, all right, this sounds good. You seem like a pretty nice person. and then you're flying through the air going, ah! It happens every time. So I was like, anyways. I saw this article about Trump saying he was going to be nice to crypto people, and I was like, yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. He'll get into office and immediately be like, I'm banning all crypto and Bitcoin. It was wonderful for a time. It was wonderful, but I'm going to ban it all. Sorry, guys. We're all the football. Fresh air. It says fresh air, yes. Anyways, friends and neighbors, y'all are the best. I'm sorry. I'm trying to check into the Rockfin chats here. What's up, Rockfin people? Joseph Wood says, I vote more ocean. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. Can we put like a tree on the ballot for president? I put oak tree for president, okay? Oak tree. Of course. I'm voting oak tree. Oak tree is going to do a really great job, a way better job of pretty much everything. Oak tree, what are your policies? What's your platform? Sounds good, Oak tree. All right. I'm in. Just checking out, y'all. Checking out the Rockfinners. Sorry for the silence. Denver says Starlink can falsify northern lights. What? That's funny. It's just a projection. It's just a hologram. It's just a hologram. I mean, northern lights kind of look like a hologram, right? Kind of look like a hologram. You gonna watch the northern lights this weekend? Sure. Come on with Starlink. All right, we got some more. Anyways, Donald Trump brazenly saying, he's just going to give the oil giants all that they want. Would you expect anything different? Would you expect anything different from Donald Trump? This is a cool video. Oh, shoot. This is late in the day. Real quick, guys, if you enjoy this content coming to you every single day, Monday through Friday. That's not every single day. Monday through Friday for free. It's free every day that I'm here. If you enjoy it coming to you for free and you appreciate this content and you are thinking maybe you would like to help this channel out financially, and boy, oh boy, I could use your help financially to keep on going, to keep this going. Because as I intimated earlier, this does take up a good chunk of my time. I devote, many hours in my week to this. If you would like to help this channel out financially, there are many ways to do it. In the description box: Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Coffees, Zelle, all the ways. There's so many ways. And so many of you already support the channel in those ways, and I really appreciate you. I appreciate all the people that help out. There are many of you. You know who you are. Oh, and Denver Attaway. There you go. Thanks, man. Denver says Black Bear News received a tip. No, he didn't say that. Thanks, man. That was Rockfin saying that. Black Bear News received a tip. Word. Geez. Has so many things to bring you today about it. Got a couple of minutes left. Maybe I'll go a couple of minutes over in my time. Perhaps. Extra Bullet says, if I ever win Lotto, I'm going to become Dollar Tree George Soros. Right on. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. What are we looking at? What are we looking at here? Oh, this is cool. Cool video about a guy that takes over abandoned houses for the homeless. Man, there's so many houses that homeless people can live in. There's so many spaces with roofs, office spaces, abandoned buildings that people could live in. And this guy talks a little bit. He's on the news talking about doing this. For a second, a couple of weeks ago, there was this thing about, oh my God, there's people, squatters taking over people's houses. Well, people actually live there. Don't do that. But there are a lot of examples of people taking over actual abandoned houses and winning those houses, or winning the right to stay there, which they should if they're abandoned. They're very famous one here in Los Angeles. A group of people took over some homes, I think from Caltrans. So Caltrans buys up homes and then makes them abandoned because they're going to raise them and build, roads or freeways or whatever. And they've been doing that here, where I live, for a while because they keep trying to extend this freeway. Anyways, a group of people took over these houses from Caltrans a few years ago, and it was a big deal. And they actually won the right to stay there, and so that's awesome. Anyways, let's watch this. God bless this man, says Nico House. This interview should serve as a reminder that putting the effort to research and educate yourself about the system country you live in can literally save lives one day. A little personal time and empathy from this man helped legally put people in abandoned homes. At Purple Pingers.
It's legal in Australia, so what's the solution?
Do you really think that encouraging people to squat on private property is the way to fix it?
Do you think it's right that we have thousands of vacant, abandoned homes while we have people living on the street?
No, I don't. But is this the right way to handle it, though? I mean, shouldn't we be focused on policy?
Yeah, I think there's definitely room to focus on policy, but what do we do in the meantime when people are on the street while we're focusing on policy?
You use the word abandoned. Who owns a house and abandons it, Jordan?
Many people. I don't know if you've ever gone down the street and seen houses empty for decades, but I certainly have.
No, I haven't.
No.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Nope.
How many, do you have any abandoned investment properties, Steve?
No, I don't. But I mean, I'm just trying to get to the economics of this. If someone buys a property, I mean, yes, we've had land banking, obviously, from foreigners, but that's not widespread. There's not thousands of them.
I asked people for less than 48 hours, and I've already got over 300 responses. I'm not the government, so I don't have the resources to ask everyone. But yeah, if you've got over 300 places that have been abandoned for more than 2 years, some up to 20 years, I think it's a problem that exists. while we have people living on the street and empty homes. And I think, like, you know, we've got adverse possession laws in Australia, and we've got, you know, squatting is legal in Australia. So what's the solution? I think it's staring at us.
Anyways, I'm all for squatting in abandoned homes, not in homes that people are currently living in. Yeah, there was a big thing a couple of weeks ago about people taking over homes while people were away on vacation, stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's called theft. That's a different thing. But if people really have homes that nobody's living in. There was a thing a few years ago about how a lot of Chinese investors or people with money would park their money here in the U.S. by buying property, but that nobody was here. So, you know, apparently there were there's a ton of real estate owned by like wealthy Chinese people, and nobody's living in it. And what is the point of that? Anyways, I'm sure there are a lot of arguments in both ways, but in both directions is what I mean. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about, and it's in the description of this video, so I should talk about this. This is an interesting clip. You can watch the full episode, I think, on Rumble or on Twitter. About this woman who worked for the CIA, and she's talking about weaponized ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes. This is a very brief, but again, you have to take this with face value, right? You don't have to, but you know, we're gonna assume this is real based on what she's saying. This is not all made up, but we know for a fact that the U.S. military has experimented with this kind of stuff. This is not a made up. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not a made up thing. They actually did stuff like this. So whether this woman is real or not, or whether there's a real, super real story, we know this happened. This happened in the past. We know, and if it happened in the past, why would they stop doing it? You know, if they ever admitted it openly, they just moved operations underground, or to places where people couldn't see. By underground, I mean out of the view of or purview of anybody. So we're just gonna make it more black ops becoming more black, right? So anything that you think went on in the past that they're like, we don't do that anymore. If you think that they stopped because out of the goodness of their hearts, or because they suddenly grew an ethic gene, they became good, meaning well-meaning people who just wanted to help. Okay, just I'll stop laughing long enough to tell you, like, just please stop thinking that. Anyways, let's watch this from Tucker Carlson. No, this is not it. This is it. This is just a little clip. You could probably watch the interview is longer. And here we go.
Then and I was going to walk away and get along with.
Hold on. Let me set this up a little bit. A conversation with a CIA Black Ops agent who dropped ticks on enemies in Operation Mongoose. It wasn't just Lyme disease that was making people sick. It was also rickettsia, a bacteria found in ticks, lice, fleas, mites, chiggers, and mammals. Rickettsia was a germ that was weaponized by the U.S. military. They'd stuff fleas with the plague. They'd stuff mosquitoes with Trinidad virus. They'd stuff ticks with deadly or incapacitating diseases like relapsing fever, etc. Anyways, okay. Should probably just say all that I said over again, but we'll listen to her.
With my life. But then two things happened within the space of a month. And I said, I can't let this story go. I just have to know what is really going on with this disease. And one was I met a CIA Black Ops guy who said in 1962, the weirdest thing he'd ever done in his whole crazy apocalypse now career was dropping poison ticks on Cuban sugarcane workers. That was Operation Mongoose. So that was the first evidence that we had dropped ticks on a foreign country as a bioweapon. And then the other thing is, one of my filmmaker friends went out to Willy Birdorfer, and in a very long interview, at the very end, he said, yeah, when I investigated the Lyme disease sickness in the late 70s, early 80s, there was another organism there. It wasn't just Lyme that was making people sick. It was, and I was told to cover it up. It was probably a rickettsia. He didn't release all the information, but what he said was confirmed by copies of his lab books and subsequent interviews that I had with him.
Pardon my ignorance. What is the disease you described? The other one, rickettsia?
So it's a rickettsia. It is the same organism that causes Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that's the most deadly tick-borne disease in the United States. It also was a germ that was being weaponized by the U.S. military at the time, and they tried to stuff it in ticks. I mean, so what is tick weaponization? So in the interviews with Willie, what he said was, I spent over a decade in the biological weapons program, a contractor to Fort Detrick, working on weaponizing fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes, trying to mass produce them, stuffing fleas with the plague, stuffing mosquitoes with deadly Trinidad virus, and then stuffing ticks with either deadly or incapacitating diseases like relapsing fever, Venezuelan equine encephalitis, rabies, leptospirosis, which is another spirochete. So it's just like Dr. Strangelove trying to make new diseases, mixing bacteria and virus in ticks with the intent of, this is the perfect stealth weapon. It's poor man's nuke. You drop these insects on an enemy, it weakens the population, it ties up the medical resources, but doesn't destroy infrastructure like a nuclear bomb would. And in one report from a bean counter in the military, they said, tularemia, which is tick-borne tularemia, also rabbit fever, we can kill 10,000 people at $1.33 a life. So anyways, it was just, there was more to tick-borne diseases than we realized, and I began suspecting that Willie was right, given this context.
Yeah. And there are other examples of this as well, right? What was Operation Popeye? Bella says they're moving Plum Island Level 4 Biolab to Tornado Alley, Kansas. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. Yeah, Gregory, I'm wondering how many Cubans were killed also. Or not Operation Popeye. Operation Popeye was Vietnam. There was an Operation Sea Spray, I think it was called. Sea Spray. Is that right? It's a real thing. Operation Sea Spray was a 1950 U.S. Navy secret biological warfare experiment in which Serratia marquescens and Bacillus globigi bacteria were sprayed over the San Francisco Bay Area in California in order to determine how vulnerable a city like San Francisco may be to a bioweapon attack. So we bioweapon attacked them to see how vulnerable they'd be to a bioweapon attack. Yeah, but Popeye was weather warfare, right? Anyways, this really happened. Starting on September 20th, 1950, and continuing until September 27th, the U.S. Navy released the two types of bacteria from a ship off the shore of San Francisco, believing them to be harmless to humans. Based on the result from monitoring equipment, the Army determined that San Francisco had received enough of a dose for nearly all of the city's 800,000 residents to inhale at least 5,000 of the particles. On October 11th, 1950, 11 residents checked into Stanford Hospital in San Francisco with a very rare, serious urinary tract infections. Some died 3 weeks later with a heart valve infection. Jesus. Cases of pneumonia in San Francisco also increased. The bacterium was also combined with fennel and an anthrax simulant and sprayed across South Dorset by the U.S. and U.K. military scientists as part of the DICE trials from 1971 to 1975. There's no evidence that the Army had alerted health authorities before it blanketed the region with bacteria. Gee, what? So in the 70s, they did this. I mean, they've done it. I'm sure for everyone that you hear, there's 10 more that you don't hear of, right? Tuskegee, the Tuskegee experiments, on and on and on. But I'm guessing that they're all undercover. They're all things that they didn't want people to find out about. So, if you hear about one, that means 10 other ones were successfully done without anybody finding out. So just assume that. You should probably assume that. Anyways. SRM reactors in my area of Los Angeles. No, I'm not familiar. SRM reactors? What are you talking about? Small modular reactors? Small modular nuclear reactors? I don't know. I don't even know. I know there were lots of nice little experiments done here. Fresh Air says the government was injecting radiation into black American men before Hiroshima. I totally believe that. All right, guys. Thanks so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Thanks for hanging out with me every day on the interwebs. And mostly, thank you for the conversation. I'll see you all on a Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Don't get zapped by a solar flare. Take precautions. All that kind of good stuff. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.